No matter how much you might want it, Bethesda doesn't need The Elder Scrolls 6. Not yet, anyway. After all, The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim is still one of the biggest and most popular games on the market, and Bethesda has a lot of other games to keep them busy. While The Elder Scrolls 6 is inevitable, it's also a long, long way off. Here's why. Haste makes waste. Good games take a long time to make. Previous Elder Scrolls games like Oblivion, Morrowind, and Skyrim took years to put together. If you're holding out hope that The Elder Scrolls 6 might be coming your way anytime soon, here's some bad news. As of this video, Bethesda hasn't even started production on the next game. For the past couple of years, Bethesda representatives have been very clear that the company is hard at work on not one, but 2 games.
To reiterate, they have at least 2 major titles that they are working on before we're going to get to Elder Scrolls 6.
These aren't small spin-off titles or mobile games like Fallout Shelter or The Elder Scrolls Legends either. We're talking about full-fledged AAA games like Skyrim and Fallout 4. Those take time. Time that won't be spent on Elder Scrolls 6. Branching out. But why focus on other games when Bethesda is the steward of 2 of the most loved video game franchises of all time? Couldn't the company make plenty of money cranking out Fallout and Elder Scrolls titles? Why waste time with something else? Well, the folks at Bethesda want everyone to know that they're capable of much, much more. As Bethesda Vice President Pete Hines has pointed out, they didn't want to be the developer that was just Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Elder Scrolls, Fallout for the rest of their development careers. Finishing Fallout 4. Even if The Elder Scrolls 6 was next on Bethesda's docket, it'd still be a long time before the game was ready. The studio just finished development on an open-world RPG called Fallout 4. You might have heard of it. We know Fallout 4 launched in November 2015, but the game's big debut was only the beginning. Throughout 2016, Bethesda continued to produce content for the game. 6 separate expansion packs fleshed out Fallout 4's post-apocalyptic world, and a series of patches cleared up technical issues while introducing new gameplay elements like a hardcore survival mode and the creation kit. In fact, Bethesda didn't stop producing new content for Fallout 4 until February 2017, when the company released the official high-resolution texture pack for players with HD monitors. With the 2 secret games, Fallout 4, and a bunch of smaller side projects, there just haven't been enough resources available to make something like a new Elder Scrolls over the past few years. Skyrim is still hot. Since Skyrim's 2011 release date, Bethesda sold more than 30 million copies of the game. And it's consistently ranked among the best games ever. It's even been referenced in NCIS.
You aren't talking about dorky role-playing games, right? You must be into those, huh?
Until I took an arrow in the knee.
In other words, people like their Skyrim. It's no surprise that it's still one of the most played games around, and new players are still jumping in all the time. As a result, Bethesda is still working as hard as it can to bring Skyrim to as many players as possible. In 2016, the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Special Edition launched on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. In 2017, Nintendo Switch players and PSVR owners got the news that they could step into the boots of the Dragonborn once again in exciting new ways. Old tech. The Creation Engine, the software that powers both Skyrim and Fallout 4, is capable of great things, but it's showing its age. While Bethesda hasn't officially put The Elder Scrolls 6 into development, the studio's designers have clearly thought about it a lot and decided that the current technology simply won't get the job done. As Bethesda Game Studios director Todd Howard explained, "I could sit here and explain the game to you, and you would say, that sounds like you don't even have the technology. How long is that going to take?" Before Bethesda can start work on The Elder Scrolls 6, the company needs to develop the underlying software first. Some of that new tech will most likely be created in conjunction with Bethesda's other in-development titles, but even so, it's going to take a lot of work. Big publishers. Bethesda has 2 sides. Bethesda Game Studios makes games, and Bethesda Softworks publishes them. Sure, Bethesda Softworks is the company that brought Skyrim and Fallout 4 to market, but it's also responsible for publishing titles from other studios. And if you haven't been paying attention, Bethesda Softworks has been very, very busy. In 2016, the company released the well-regarded Doom reboot and Dishonored 2. In 2017, they produced Prey, The Evil Within 2, Dishonored: Death of the Outsider, and Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus, to name a few. Over the past couple of years, every game Bethesda Softworks has published deserves attention. In other words, Bethesda is doing just fine, and they have plenty of time to make an Elder Scrolls game that measures up to the rest of the franchise. It'll come eventually. All that being said, The Elder Scrolls 6 is coming. We just don't know when. Recently, Bethesda has been keeping its project secret until they're almost ready for release. Fallout 4 wasn't unveiled until June 2015 and launched the following November. Fallout Shelter was a complete surprise that nobody knew about until the day it came out.
This game is coming out on the App Store tonight.
At E3 2017, every single new game Bethesda announced was scheduled to come out the same year. That sounds like it's going to be Bethesda's approach for the foreseeable future, which is admittedly refreshing in the game industry. Compare this to Crackdown 3, which has been delayed to 2018 despite being announced in 2014. As Todd Howard put it, the gap between hearing about it and it coming out, I like that to be really short. In other words, while The Elder Scrolls 6 is absolutely on Bethesda's radar, don't expect to hear anything official for the next few years. By the time you do hear about it, it'll practically be in stores. Thanks for watching. Click the SVG icon to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Plus, check out all this cool stuff we know you'll love too.